Three, two, one. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Britton's Hanging Hour, episode 21. I think I'm here with EpicTalez from YouTube. How you doing today? I actually just recently found your channel, so. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
like, oh
recently
wow.
found yours. I recently found yours as well. And by the way, I'm EpicTalez if you haven't heard of me. And yeah, I recently found your channel as well. And I was very pleased to find out that it was a channel that I feel like is kind of similar to mine. I
Uh huh.
like how you also incorporate like comics into
I covered a
your.
comic the other day, Murder Falcon, which is a lot of fun. I know you like Beyond Redemption. I actually own it. I have it over here. I just haven't read it yet, so I want to. Yeah.
Ooh, that's like a staple. I feel that for me personally, this is a personal thing because I don't want people coming after me. But for me, it's a staple in Grim Dark, and yeah, the magic system and the magic system, the characters are very interesting. I really like the relationship specifically between the characters. It's not like this is not a Beyond Redemption review, but yeah, I recommend it.
Makes sense why I like the cover art. It's by Richard Anderson. Yeah. But yeah, I do want to read this at some point. I have it on my. I don't know when. Maybe if I get through some of my summer reads, I'll get to it. It's not part of the reads video I had, but you know.
When you get to it, I'll be happy to know what you think about it. Like, I need more people to be able to discuss this book with. But for me, I feel like let me know what you think. I feel like the cover looks more like a western than a
I know, yeah, it
fictional.
does. That's what interested me. I'm like, is this like a western? Because it kind of looks like one, a little bit. I've heard
It's
it's
not a
not,
western.
which was kind of disappointing. But you know, whatever. Still like the cover.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Was that the first video you saw on my channel, the one about Beyond Redemption?
um, yeah, I think so. Yeah, the motion comic, I think, is what it was.
Okay. So you saw the okay, nice, nice. How did you like it?
Yeah, it was good. So do you create those, or is that from someone else?
Yeah, I create those. That's why I don't release book reviews as often as
Oh,
I can because it takes an incredible amount of time and sometimes it takes a lot of money as well. So
I imagine.
it's usually like passion projects. Like I have to really enjoy the book to put to make a book review about it.
Yeah, I also saw your Blood Meridian discussion that you had like recent, or it was like a few weeks ago, probably.
Everyone is telling me that like that was such a very interesting first Cormac McCarthy book to start with,
Yeah, it's not. It's
but
it's it's certainly, yeah. It's not one I would recommend starting with first, but you know, different strokes.
I I think after like for me I found it like a bit difficult to read in terms of just like the prose and like the his use of language, but after I think chapter 4,
Mm-hmm.
the first time they encounter the Indians, I was hooked. I was hooked. I was like, I need to know what the hell is going on in this story. And for me, like I get why Cormac McCarthy is so loved and why he is rated that high, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just so sad that he's passed away. But I am definitely going to put in like dedicate time to go through his work because I feel like there's just so much to unpack there.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's one of my favorites. So I think I find there's these like trends on booktube. Like there's a lot of like booktubers who are like getting into manga, and then there's some who are reading Cormac McCarthy, and I just find that interesting because he's an acquired taste, as I like to say.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure.
So like, what do you do on your channel for those who don't know?
So the name of my channels is Epic Tales, and I basically talk about stories that I deem are epic. I like stories that engage me, like emotionally, psychologically, um, and just like draw my attention. I like it when time passes by without my ability, without knowing when I'm like reading a story or like experiencing a story. For me, it doesn't really matter if the story, if it's a book or it's a comic or it's manga or anime, as long as it's a good story and it has that ability to engage me. So on my channel, I try and not only talk about these books, but I try and represent them in visual format. Like a lot of the times you hear people describing, if you watch a lot of booktube videos, for instance, and talking about a specific book, a lot of the times people say the same exact thing. After a while, it's like, oh, the prose is good, and like, oh, the characters are good, and they
Do you ever
talk
just
about
go
it's
like when
basically
you
the
watch
same
them?
thing.
Do you ever just go like, but why?
Yes, exactly, exactly. So I try to like make it a little bit more interesting with my motion comics, just so that um by the time you're done with my review, you've captured like just a little piece of what the book is about, at least how it made me feel. So yeah, and I do character analysis as well, and
Mm.
just putting it out there, I'm going to do a character analysis of George Holden, and I would love to know your thoughts on that as well.
Oh, that will be interesting. I mean, there's been a lot of those discussions on what or who George, or I almost said George, Judge Holden, what he is and what he's a judge of. Actually, was talking to AJP about it, and he has some very interesting thoughts on that.
Yes, he's AJP is a very interesting individual. It's like he's one of those people that when you're around him and he starts talking about books or stories or writing, just keep quiet because he talks about it with so much passion, so much insight, and that's why if you watch a lot of my character analysis, is usually AJP doing a voiceover while I'm doing like the visual aspects of it too. You know just enhance what he's saying, but he always has such great insight on writing and stories in general.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you one about Rage Dragons. I also have that over here. I don't really feel like pulling that out though. Heard that's good. I do want to
Yeah.
try that as well. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
So Rage of Dragons is it's a book I would recommend. I would admit that I might have a bias towards it because like it has like it's set in an African world,
Mm-hmm.
and like to be honest, because of how authentically it was represented, I I I just like I was able to experience fantasy for like a new way for the first time because um like usually like I read fantasy and I connect on a human level, emotional level, and a psychological level as well, but never on a cultural level.
Mm-hmm.
Like back in Nigeria, I had to learn about knights. I had to learn about how like the a kingdom is structured, like king, queen, prince, and castle and all that kind of stuff. But in Rage of Dragons, what Ivan Winters does is that he kind of does all of that, but within an African setting. So in respect to fantasy, but within an African setting, and it helped me connect culturally because the names of the characters were African. Like some of them were names of my friends back
Mm-hmm.
in Nigeria, and it just helped me connect. And I was able to recognize Ivan Winter's talent for storytelling as well because it was authentic and he did a good job in keeping me engaged throughout the book.
That did it also made me wonder if you'd read Black Leopard, Red Wolf from Marlon
You
James.
s- see,
Um,
that's another one so many people have told me to read. I haven't
I
read it yet, but I'm
I think you would
excited.
like that one if you liked Rage of Dragons. I know I did, but I'm a white guy, so. But I liked it. I put a review on it on my channel.
What's like if you could talk about it very briefly without like spoiling it, what would you say?
Well, it's part of a trilogy. Though don't worry, because basically the idea is it's the same story told by three different people who experienced it. Black Leopard Red Wolf is about a guy called Tracker who can track people. Because he has like a supernatural nose, pretty much. He's like a PI. Well, they go after this boy. Him and a group of people go after this boy, and naturally it goes to hell pretty quickly. So that's pretty much the gist of it, without
Nice.
spoiling it.
Nice.
It's fun. Or well, I don't want to say it's fun, but I enjoyed myself in reading it anyway.
Nice. I also recently discovered that you were like a writer, and
Yeah.
I know we briefly spoke about it on Discord, but what is your book about?
um, my book that I'm working on right now is about a
First of
guy.
all, forgive me if you didn't really plan to like announce it
No, it's
right now.
okay. No, I talked about it in a show a few weeks ago, so it's okay. I've talked about it a little
Okay,
bit.
okay,
But the one
okay.
I'm putting up the next week that when we're talking about this. Um, but no, no worry. I've already talked about it a little bit. So, um, I'm trying to keep it a simple story so I can let people come in without doing this like big epic thing. But pretty much it's about a guy who gets into trouble. Um, and he is made to go into this village to figure out what's going on with it because there's been a bunch of weird stuff going on. Like people have been disappearing. There have been these strange dreams, and and he has to figure it out, or he'll have to suffer the consequences for that what he had done. Which is not a spoiler. He it's in the first like page of the book. He's in like jail, so it's not. But it's in the first draft right now, so I'm
Nice,
about more than halfway through it right now.
nice,
So yeah, I know
nice.
you're working on something. uh,
Yeah, yeah. I've been working on something. Like I've been working on something for so long right now. I have a headache even when I think about it. But I'm just trying to stay consistent writing. It's called Cradle of Chaos, and it on a large scale it talked about it refers to the relationship between order and chaos,
hmm,
and usually there's a cycle of order and chaos, like not usually there isn't like a large gap between periods of order and chaos, but an empire came, and when an empire came, what they did was that they imposed order on the world for millennia, and they like absolute order, like everything was ordered and in place. And when that empire crumbles is beginning of Cradle of Chaos, basically.
mm-hmm,
So the that is just like the result of that, and I try to incorporate a lot of philosophies, a lot of POVs who embody different philosophies that I've studied before. My relationship with philosophies are like I studied them and I was really into them at some point, but after a while I let go of them because just like having a personal experience just gave me like a wider perspective on 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 how I believe is best to live life. But I have all that knowledge in my head and it's all useful. So I'm just putting it, having characters embody different philosophies I know, and see how um, these characters like interact with the chaos that they are living in. Well, I've never had to like verbally describe that before, but
mm-hmm.
that's basically the grand idea behind the book.
I see. That's interesting. I mean, there's I'm like I'm just trying to be consistent. I set like a timer, so not really a timer, but an alarm, like because I like to write at night. So I just do that each night, and there's sometimes I'm feeling pretty good about it, and then there's sometimes I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, yeah, so I try to stay consistent with my writing. Today, for instance, I wrote 1,122 words, and I tell myself that okay, if I can do that consistently for 2 months, I could finish my book. But yeah, I'm not always consistent, and sometimes I give myself a hard time because of that. But I learned that that's the journey of writing. That's the process. That's part of the process. Sometimes ideas need time to sit and develop in your subconscious before you can like consciously express it. And I'm learning that, and I'm learning to like just every day, even if I do not like my ideas, just like develop that habit of writing, just so that like I can have something consistently working and like keep building on it every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's writing is can be pretty tough, even when you're kind of like, oh man, I don't know today, but I just kind of I still do it. But
Yeah,
yeah, you do
like
a
you should
lot of
have seen
motion
me
comics on your
after.
channel.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
No, I was gonna say like you should have seen me after I read like Blood Meridian, and then I read my book again, and I was just like, you talentless piece of shit. But like, you know, I, I know better
I
than
know,
to
right?
compare
That happens.
myself
I just
to
read a book. I'm like,
anyone,
what
but
the
like,
fuck? Why am I even
yeah,
doing
I
this?
know. Yeah, this is obviously is not meant for me, but it's very interesting. Sir, you were gonna ask a question?
Oh, I was just asking, like, oh, you do a lot of motion comics on your channel, so I mean, like, how'd you start doing that? And also, I was also gonna ask if you read Slowly Read, because that's how I discovered Beyond Redemption and made me want to go read it.
Yo, and like I kind of I talk to Slowly Red every now and again on Discord, and I know he's taking a break right now, but Slowly Red is hands down one of the most influential booktubers out there. Like he influenced so many people. I remember um like his channel isn't as big as Daniel Green's, but I used to watch his channel
Oh,
like
Daniel
so
Green's
much.
channel.
Yeah, it's not as big as Daniel Green's in terms of like subscribers and stuff,
Oh
but
yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of
Mm-hmm.
like engagement and like getting me excited about a book, like Slowly Read, like no one does it like Slowly Read. And if
Yeah.
Slowly Read watches this, please come back. We miss you, and yeah. But yeah, it was Slowly Read and like a couple of my friends on Discord that told me you need to read Beyond Redemption. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, I know. It looks like a book I would like. I just haven't gotten to it yet because I'm a mood reader, so I just kind of like I was actually reading this book called Razorblade Tears that I'm probably gonna finish it tomorrow because I'm around the end of it. But I'm enjoying that. Um, yeah, no, good stuff. But but yeah, you do motion comics, so you like illustrating as well as writing.
So for me, I like not only like telling and talking about stories, but I like to facilitate stories as well.
Mm.
So it's just the ability to, and I know like the numbers on people who read is reducing every year, and I know that a lot of people, I feel sad that people don't get to enjoy the experience of reading a book and getting lost in a world like that. So I try and use my channel to do this motion comics because just to like get the engagement going, just to if that excites you enough to read a book, then like I've done my job.
Mm-hmm.
But I was talking to AJP a few days ago, and I was just telling him that maybe this is something I should do. I should do on its own. I should maybe um do motion comics and tell a story from start to finish instead of just doing like trailers.
Mm-hmm.
And just use it as like its own medium of storytelling, which is what I've been looking into as well. So yeah, I have some really exciting projects that I'm working on.
So, I mean,
Sorry.
when you do the motion comics, um, I sound like Joe Rogan, but so when you do you just kind of read the book and you just kind of imagine what it looks like and you just kind of draw it? And I'm sure you have like
So I do
I'm sure you have like
I do
software
not
for
like.
it.
I'll make it clear. I do not do the drawings, like the
Oh,
illustrations, the drawings themselves. I do not do the drawings. I pay someone to do that. But
oh,
then
okay.
they what they do is that like they give me still images,
Oh, okay.
and then I
Mm-hmm.
bring it to life. Like I animate it, I add like the smoke, I do the voice acting, I add like
Mm.
the effects, I make it, I bring it alive. So it's not a still picture. And it's like there's voice acting, there's background music, I put everything together basically. But I have there are artists I work with, and I always try to shout them out in the description as well.
All right. I guess I didn't see that in the video because I was kind of just watching them but yeah, no, but yeah, you have a propensity towards dark fantasy or grim dark is what they call it, or
Yeah.
that particular type. Um, which makes me wonder: have you read Joe Abercrombie before?
Of
Okay.
course, the first law. I love so like hands down one of my favorite characters in Grimdark is the Bloody Nine. I love
Yeah.
Glotter as well, but um I remember reading like the Bloody Nine's POV and getting goosebumps. Like, what the fuck is this guy? Like, who is this guy? You
It's
know what I
so
mean? Like, and just his lack of compromise and the fact that he just keeps going like that berserker warmongering trope I feel like was done really really well. And yeah, Jabber Combe is one of my I really really love his writing, at least the first three books. I haven't read the rest, but I'll get to it.
yeah. I mean, I just completed Best Served Cold, which is one of the standalone books last week, and I enjoyed it. But I'm taking a break from Joe Abercrombie because I don't want to get burned out. So but it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I decided to read The Blade itself, just kind of on a whim last year, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't really know what else to say. Um,
Yeah.
and it was kind of one of those. I was kind of skeptical because he's like, oh yeah, a lot of people like Abercrombie, and then I read him like,
Yeah.
okay, he's good. All right, I get it. Don't need to.
But then you'd be surprised how many people don't like him. I know
Well,
more
yeah.
people like him than don't like him, but like there are discords that are just there, and like they have like dedicated channels where they just like shit on him. And like like coming into when I first made one of my early videos, when I first made my video on before they are hanged, that was book two. And I was just like hyping up all the praise, and then I go to that channel and I see all this stuff, and I'm just like, wow, like just like damn. Because you feel some type of way if you recommend a book to someone, or you're always talking about how good a book is, and then you see like, I don't know, 30, 40 people just telling you how bad it is.
Yeah, I've had, I've
you
had.
know
Yeah, no, I've.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I'll be like talking about something, and then someone will just go like, "I didn't like it." just like I'm like,
You're like
well,
yeah, yeah.
and I'm just like, well,
Yeah.
thanks for telling me. I don't know what, but I mean, I don't love every book I read either. But I like to just talk about books that I enjoy.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, there is a good thing you can get from books you don't like, but I like to talk about books I do enjoy because I think it's much more
One
interesting.
hundred
I
percent.
think it creates a
One
better
hundred.
conversation, at least for me.
Yeah, 100%. Like so. I'm freely saying this because my opinion doesn't really matter here. This is like a bestseller and everything, but I absolutely hated reading The Faithful and the Fallen. I don't know if you've heard about that John Gwen, The
Oh
Faithful and
yeah,
the
yeah,
Fallen.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm like that
Like
sounds familiar.
yeah, what's the name? Like Malice, Ruin, Wrath, and like those books basically. And I know it's a beloved book on BookTube, but just from like a writer's perspective, I was able to see what I did not like, and that
Mm-hmm.
helped me become a better writer because um, seeing what you don't like helps you avoid making those mistakes as well,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Well, yeah.
from a writing perspective. And then from a reader perspective, I just understood myself better on like my own personal views on how I see the world and how I feel like it was misrepresented, and I also like understood that my taste in reading had changed a lot because if I was in high school reading The Faithful and the Fallen, I know I'd have loved it, but reading it now, I was just like, no, like this is not this is no
Yeah.
longer for me.
I mean, I talked to uh, AJP. This was like a few days ago, and like he's one of those guys. Like I'm like here, and he's just like here. Like he thinks about stuff that I don't even consider. You know, I was just telling him like,
No,
look, I like how prose engages me, and he just goes on this stuff about like syntax. I'm like, what? I mean, I know
no,
what it
no, no.
is, but
AJP is like AJP is like I said before. When he talks, you just listen because he knows his stuff. And if you like prose, you really should give his book a shot. Like his book is legit good. Like I'm not gonna say for an indie author his book is good. Like his book is good. Period. You know, and he has some crazy prose going,
yeah, I know
but it's
his.
very dark. It's very dark. Just like and like I'm saying that after reading like you know really dark. I like grim dark. I'm telling you that book is dark.
Yeah,
So,
from the
but yeah,
sound of it, it sounds pretty. It sounds dark, but I haven't. It does sound interesting to me. He gave me kind of a like concept of it, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'll give it a shot. And I haven't read it yet, and I don't know when I'm gonna do that, but someday, because my TBR is already pretty large, so
yeah. At some point, I just give up on TBRs. I was just like I can't do this anymore because when I look at it, it's like I'm looking at like and this is just me, but I just feel like I'm looking at my inability to commit. You know, I'm just like looking at it and it's just giving me negative feeling because like I should have read that. Oh, I haven't read that. Oh, and it never reduces. It just keeps like getting larger and larger and larger, especially if you're part of a community where everyone is recommending books to you. You know, but right now like I basically just do like mood reading. You know, however my mood dictates, and yeah, like so far it's working for me.
yeah. Oh, you have Red Monster. Good. I really enjoy that.
Oh, are you kidding me, Johan? Johan, that was my first animation on my first
I was like,
motion
oh,
comic
hey, there it is.
on
Because I know you
yeah.
said you read some manga, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if he's read Monster, and I just found it here. So I'm like, ah.
No, I've done everything. Like trust me, like I'm a proper weeb. Like I grew up Dragon Ball Z Pokemon era. Like that was when I was like a kid. I grew up watching that stuff every day, and then I was a huge One Piece fan. Like even before it wasn't so famous, so popular. And yeah, like yeah, I'm a total weeb man.
you you were on the wagon before everyone else was.
Yeah, I was on anime, and before it became cool to be on anime. You know, like I was reading Berserk at like 8 years old. Like, well, why is an 8 year old reading Berserk? You know, but like it's all stories really like make up a big part of who I am. The things I like about myself as well.
Yeah, I mean it's I'll admit, like, I'm not the biggest like anime guy. Like, I've watched some. Like, I love Cowboy Bebop, for instance, and like, Death Note and Monster, of course. But I'm not like an avid reader of it. I have read Berserk though, and it's pretty good. Very dark though. I'm
Yeah,
just like,
Berserk is crazy. It's very very staple for me.
yeah, I
Like
know. I'm just like, what?
the eclipse scene destroyed me. Like I was destroyed internally. I was just like my mind didn't know what to do with itself,
Oh, I was
you know.
more
But
shaken by the Lost Children arc. Mm,
ooh, ooh, like Berserk is one of those stories that it's you have to feel for gods, man. You have to feel for God, like the eternal struggler.
yeah.
It's a story that really really um it takes your mind to places, to those like dark places in your it takes you to those dark places in your mind, and you feel like I feel like reading Berserk. I know about my I understand my mind a little better, you know and yeah, it's a highly highly recommend.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to places I don't think I would go to if I were writing that, you know. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, no, it sucks the guy died though. That was sad.
Yeah, I
Um,
know, I know. All our heroes, man. Like Miura, like Cormac, like this guy's, and yeah, like I got excited when it was announced that Cormac was going to be directing his Blood Meridian movie, and then like I think less than a week later he dies, and Miura like hasn't finished Berserk. Apparently he left notes, and like his team kinds of has an idea of where he was going to take it, and they're carrying it on. But yeah, like he didn't finish his story either. And like personally that just gave me more agency to know to put my stuff out there, because tomorrow is not guaranteed.
well, yeah, it's funny. Or I guess not really funny, but Cormac McCarthy dies. I'm like, well, shit, that sucks, and I get sick the same week. I'm just like, it's not my week.
Mm.
But Um, but so you've only read Blood Meridian from Cormac McCarthy. You haven't read anything else?
I've only read Blood Meridian. I'd like to read No Country for Old Men, All the Pretty Horses, The Road, The Passenger. Like there's so much I want to read, but I also don't want to rush it, because I feel like I feel like I want to take my time with it. Maybe I'll read a Cormac McCarthy book once every 3 months or so, and I want to read Blood Meridian again. And simply because, just like his way of writing and the way his books engage the mind, I want to read, then I want to like decompress, and then read, and then decompress, then read and decompress. I don't want to just you know, like binge, his work like that. I want to like savor it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't say McCarthy's work is bingeable. It's you kind of have to rate it if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, though I mean, like I'd say like No Country is. I mean, even something like All Pretty Horses, which I would say is like more accessible than No Country. Like you have to kind of read it, because it's very
Hmm.
visual.
Yeah. No, and that is something about his writing that just blows my mind. It's like I felt like I could smell like the desert. I felt like I could see the sunset. I felt like I could feel the heat and the sand being like I felt like I could feel the grittiness of the sand reading his book,
Did
and
you
his
feel
ability to
dirty?
just like flow with it. Yes, I felt filthy reading that book. Felt absolutely filthy reading that book, like I had like reading the book, like I was with my girlfriend, and she told me that like for like 20 minutes my face was like reading the book, like just
You're just like, oh
stop
my
like that
gosh.
because like what the hell, I don't know if I can say. Well, I guess I can say this when he talks about like there was like a tree where like they they hung dead babies.
Oh my
Like
god, yeah.
I
Oh.
don't know why that was so visual. Like I saw that image so clearly the way he described this as well, and yeah, like he definitely left a big impression on me, and like I feel like it only make me a better writer, and also um like I appreciate good prose better more because of that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny about Blood Meridian. Like, I can see why people might be turned off because it's a very like it wanders a lot. I don't want to say it meanders because that would imply like it's bad or boring or something,
No,
and it's not.
no,
But
but you see, the thing is that I feel like he wrote that in free form. And when I say free form, like he was just writing. I don't think he plotted things out. I don't think he knew the ending before he wrote it. You know what I mean? I feel like he was just right. He was just right. It was more about like the experience um, of of the story, and with someone was telling me like that with Cormac McCarthy, it's never quite about the ending. It's about the emotions, the emotional like peaks and dips you feel while you're reading the book is never quite about the ending, and like what you posit from the ideas that he presents to you, so he's a legend for sure, he's a legend for sure.
yeah, it was definitely in my view one of the greatest living authors. Well, him and like Alan Moore maybe, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I definitely will miss him, and it was sad to see him go, even though he was almost 90.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I know you've also read like R. Scott. Is it Baker? I think it's Baker.
If you love McCarty, you're also gonna love Baker for sure.
Perhaps
Baker is a hell of a writer.
I'll have to check him out at some point. Um, he seems like I've heard he also enjoys Blood Meridian as well, so that's interesting.
Of course. Um, his books is inspired by Blood Meridian.
Mm.
His book is like Blood Meridian inspired the Prince of Nothing for sure. Like reading Prince of Nothing and then reading Blood Meridian, I'm like, huh. Like I was like, okay, I get it. I see where you got that from. Um, but R. Scott Baker is very interesting. Uh, how do I explain how good he is? So when you read his book, right, his first book, The Darkness That Comes Before, that first of all, that was the first book he ever wrote, and um, you see his ability to communicate his ideas, like whether he's trying to do it through subtlety or he's making it like explicit, it always like leaves an impression on you. And the Darkness Comes Before is one of those books where like after I sometimes I'll read like a line or a passage, a lot like Blood Meridian as well. I would pause, I'll take a break to like fully understand, or sometimes I'll read a line over and over just because I want to understand like the framework of the ideas that he's presenting. And he's a very smart person, you can tell, and I highly recommend R. Scott Baker's writing.
Yeah, perhaps.
AJP suggested both Cormac uh and uh Baker to me.
Yeah, no, I was talking with him, and he's like, he did this thing called Whales and Men. I'm like, oh, what's that? He's like, oh, it's just about two guys talking about whales. I'm like, For real? He was like, yeah. I was like, shit, man.
Yeah,
Never even heard of this.
yeah, he would
Like
take
I
you
was
to
like
where
that.
the
He's like he's looking for like the obscure stuff. I'm just like, what?
yeah,
Never heard of
yeah.
that.
He's not AJP he's different like that. He's different like that. One of my favorite people.
Yeah, no, yeah, like I had a really like long conversation about Blood Meridian with him the other night because it's funny because in about 2 weeks I'm hopefully gonna have a kind of long form discussion about Blood Meridian, which I don't know how that's gonna go because like it's such a like I mean I know you did it and it was like an hour and you guys were just like I don't even think we got like
We didn't even there
even
was so much we
scratch
didn't
the
talk about. There's
exactly.
so much we didn't talk about. We didn't even scratch the surface, you know. Um yeah, be fun if you put that on the channel for sure. For sure I'll check it out.
um
But there's just like so much packed in one book, you know. It's like how do you even like where do you start like how do you dissect all of that, you know? I'm sure it's the kind of book where like you read if you read over and over you'll find something different every time, you
Yeah,
know.
I do want to reread it at some point. When I first read it, I was 18, I think.
Sorry, you're what?
I was 18. Like,
Uh,
I was either I had just graduated high s- no, I just graduated high school. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna try this Blood Meridian book out and see how it goes. And it just was like, it makes you work for it, for lack of a better term. And yeah, no,
yeah, like
I read
do
it
you
at
mind if I ask you do you mind if I ask you what that is? Like where you're hanging your hat. That looks like a raccoon. It looks like a live raccoon. No,
that yeah
yeah, right.
yeah that right there
Yeah, yeah,
yeah
yeah.
it's well there's an old folk hero called Davy Crockett and he had this raccoon hat so I got that when I was a
Oh,
kid too.
that's cool, man. That's cool. That's cool.
I thought
I
that was
like
cool so yeah I got it when I was a kid.
like stuff like that.
I don't think it fits me anymore but it probably doesn't but yeah um but going back to McCarthy, it's kind of funny that like how many genre writers he's inspired. Like he has, but I guess it's fitting because he has a very like hard boiled style in a lot of ways, even if it is like lush.
Yeah. So I find that so before I came to BookTube, for instance, right? I had read so much that um I was finding it difficult to find something new or find it difficult to basically uh read a story that 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 the execution of it itself was not like didn't feel derivative. So I've started going back to authors that inspired the people I've been reading over time. So Cormac McCarthy, back to what you were referring to, is definitely one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I find that I can see how a lot of writers, you know, derive something like take something away from the book and try and adapt it in their own vision. And it's just interesting that like I find the I don't want to necessarily say original because I know somebody else inspired McCarthy,
Mm-hmm.
but like the point at which a lot of writers came and took something out of like that idea. Like
Mm-hmm.
for instance, like have you read Malazan? Have you heard about it?
I have heard of it. I have not read it. Because I'm kind of wary of longer series unless I'll read it at some point. I'm just kind of I have to like hype myself up for it.
Yeah, I haven't read it either, but the person who inspired Malazan is Glenn Cook. Glenn Cook
Oh yeah.
inspired a lot of grimdark. and I'm also reading like the Black Company series right now, and I'm loving it so much. And I can just see how Glenn Cook inspired, like it's one of the people that inspired Grimdark up for what it is today. And before Glenn Cook, there was Mike Murdoch. He wrote up
Hmm. Oh, you
the
mean
Elric
Moorcock? Yeah.
Elric. Yes, Moorcock. I say Moorcock. Yeah, and like I like reading those staples that inspired a lot of people because
Hmm.
there's just something about the originality of the ideas, or like not necessarily originality, but just their perspective on ideas that gives birth to even more ideas.
Yeah, I was about to say you might like Elric. It's very much it's very strange.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause
Like so you've read it before, right?
yeah, a while back I actually like to read it again. They got it in these hard covers now, so
Yeah.
I might read
I
it.
I I, I got like volume one recently, so
Yeah, they're good stuff. I
cover
mean,
is
it's
beautiful. Yeah.
like he's certainly an interesting author. I've heard him be compared to Sanderson, but they're kind of different in terms of how they
Yeah. Yeah. AJP says great ideas, bad writing. But the comparison to Sanderson is it's just like
Wait,
how
Sanderson has good
quickly he
ideas, bad
writes.
writing, or Moorcock does?
Um, Uh, AJP, according to AJP said is Mike Moorcock has good ideas, bad writing.
Oh,
AJP doesn't like Sanderson either, so
I haven't read Sanderson, so plus I don't.
neither have I.
And also I don't know if I want to. It's sort of it's one of those things where I don't know if he would I don't know if he would be for me. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like I don't think he'll be for me either, but like I had someone buy me this, so I feel obligated to read it. So it's like this collection right here. It's such a beautiful cover,
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
Mistborn, and then
Yeah,
there are three
Mistborn
books,
actually
like
sounds
one, two,
interesting because
three.
I like the idea of Mistborn. Like, oh, what if the Dark Lord won? You know, like that interests me. But aside from that, like, I'll probably like read the first one and get like an idea, and if I don't like it or whatever, I'll probably just or if I do, maybe
Yeah.
I'll
Uh,
I don't know.
if I read, that's exactly my thought. If I read Miss Bourne and I like it, then I'll go on to other stuff. But it doesn't sound like it sounds very the way AJP described it to me, it sounds very like commercial, like kind of like the Marvel universe where
Yeah,
like it,
yeah.
it's just like produce, and then the stories just get all jumbled in the head. Like I don't know, it sounds yeah, I know people love it, so I'm trying to be careful with what I say, but like yeah, I'm not quite sure if it's for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would definitely kind of feel like a bad fantasy fan if I didn't read him at all. But um, yeah, I'm not in any rush to do it. So, but no, Mistborn does
Same
sound
exact
intriguing. But, well,
same
mainly based on the
exact
idea.
feeling.
So
Yeah, same exact feeling. I do hear that he has like really interesting magic systems.
yeah,
And yeah, that might be interesting to explore. But yeah, like
that
my
didn't really
favorite magic
interest me
system
though.
is in
So,
Beyond. Yeah, my favorite magic system, by the way, is Beyond Redemption. It's
wow.
such a
I think I
sick,
saw you, or I think
disgusting
I
magic
saw you
system.
made like a video about it or something. Or it was like
Yeah, I
explained in
did.
1 minute or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I tried to make a video. It's like there are several magic system, and that one is one that has to do with like doppelgangers.
Mm.
And what they do is that yeah, it's like different aspects of yourself. So um another you could have like a doppel of yourself, which is fear. So if you have a doppel that embodies the part of yourself that is fearful, then you don't have to deal with the emotion internally, you now have to deal with it externally. And then all these doppelgangers that come out, like they help you get rid of this separate aspects of yourself, but they are also trying to take over you and become the main one. So they kind of help you through problems, but they're helping you and kind of also they're helping you basically dig your own grave, but like they're helpful. It's twisted like that, like
Mm.
this idea of like your delusions manifest themselves into reality depending on how powerful you are. You're able to, it depends on how like it shows how well you can manifest your delusion is how powerful you are. So it's very very interesting concept, very interesting concepts, you know.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to magic, I find it's more interesting when it's like not as explained. If that makes sense. That's another reason I'm kind of turned off by Brandon
By
Sanderson, because
yeah,
he
yes,
overly explains it, and I'm like, where it's just like the magic I'm playing with, it's sort of like science a little bit, but it's still stuff
yes.
they don't understand.
Oh my God. I love that you said it. So I have magic systems that aren't explained as well are called soft, and my systems are explained like to down to the science are hard magic systems. Um
I just think
I
it's
do not
annoying. I'm
have
like,
a
I don't want to
problem.
explain it.
uh, I do not have a problem with hard magic systems. However, right, like I do not like the attempt to make it sciencey. It's magic. Let it feel magical. I don't want to feel like it's like A plus B equals to C. Okay, that makes sense. Like I don't like this idea of having um to rationalize everything to like to bits. I like when there's like maybe there's a general idea, and then the rest is left for you to like experience as a reader. Not like I don't want to be trying to, oh, so does that work with what was said in chapter 4? And well, that doesn't make sense because I don't like that math. I rather focus on the story.
Yeah,
Although there are some good hard magic systems, but yeah, like the more complex they are, the more I'm turned off. To be
yeah.
honest.
No, I don't mind something like, I don't know, Harry Potter, for instance, where it's like there is a magic, it is understandable, but it's not like, it never felt annoying to me, at least in my personal opinion.
Yes, it's not physics. It's
It's
not
not
physics.
physics,
It's
exactly.
yeah, it's like okay, you need a wand to direct your spells. You need to say the words or not, depending on how good of a magician you are. And there are certain ways to like evoke the magic from you. Like it's simple. It's not complicated.
Yeah, no, if it's like overtly explained, I'm just like, okay, no. Not that,
Yeah.
like you said, there are some hard magic systems that aren't bad. It's just I can't think of them at the moment because there's a lot of them I don't care for. But
I would say the name of the wind.
oh, I haven't read that yet.
Yeah.
Which is
It's
funny.
sorry.
Which is funny because it's supposed to be a trilogy, and I generally like to stick with like trilogies and standalones aside from like the like longer stuff. Like I don't mind longer series, but just haven't gotten to it yet. Plus, he hadn't put out
The
Doors to
name of
Stone,
the name
so
of the wind is supposed to be only 3 books, I believe, and right now he's only written 2. So you can get into that, like yeah.
like
And the story is good enough that I would say it's worth it.
like I mean, if I the magic I if way I like magic, if I could like describe like first law, like it's not overtly explained, but there's
Mm.
certainly a magical element, and it's there, and there's people who know how to use it, and I also like that there's people who don't quite believe in it, because it feels more
Yeah.
authentic that way for me anyway. I don't know.
Yeah. And it still has like its mystical qualities. It still feels like okay, this is some arcane shit. This is some different stuff. I don't like it when I really don't like it when it's broken down to a science. Like I do not need my magic to make sense. Although the argument on the other side is that when the magic system is not hard, then some people see it as like, okay, then it doesn't have limits. You can just like they think that sometimes it's used to break the plot. Like it's like, okay, someone is surrounded by five dragons. Like
Well, I'm not
in
saying to
every
not have
situation,
rules
they're
at
going to
all.
die.
I'm just saying that don't let it like overtake the, you know.
Overtake the story, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying like the argument, people who don't like soft magic systems don't like the potential of using magic to, like, carry the story along.
Well,
I
yeah.
don't like that as well, but like it's I see their perspective, but in general I prefer soft magic systems
Yeah,
where
no, I
it's
mean,
no
I'm not
it's
saying that doesn't happen. It does. I just, um,
yeah.
there was a book I read last year. It's my favorite book of the year, in fact, that I read anyway. It didn't come out last year, but it was Perdido Street Station, and I really enjoyed how they did magic because it's almost like science, but they don't fully understand how it works, and
Mm,
yeah, I just thought that was interesting. So um,
nice.
I'll admit I did kind of shamelessly steal some ideas from that book for the one I'm working on right now. Um,
Yeah.
Not
And
plagiarism though,
I
because it's
and I bet you the person you stole it from somebody else.
yeah, I'm sure he
They are not
did.
there are no original there are no original ideas again, to be honest. Like it's like you're either aware of your influences or you're not aware of your influences. And if you're aware of your influences, you're much better off because you can, like intentionally differentiate yourself.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I don't. I try to differentiate myself enough so I don't have to like be all like, oh, you just stole this, but but yeah, no, I
It's
agree with
not it's not it's not like a Will of Time Aragon situation.
you. Oh man.
Like they say Wheel of Time, they say Aragon, like just like please your eyes, just change names here and there. you know.
Oh
But
man, I
to be
read the
fair,
first.
Paulini was still a kid when he wrote it, so
I read the first Aragon book and I was just like, oh lord. Oh.
uh,
I haven't read Wheel
you
of
see,
Time though.
like so for me, right? I read Aragon before I read Wheel of Time.
Uh huh.
So it's funny for me when I see people hating on Aragon because for me, Aragon in my head is like it holds a special place in my heart because it's one of the books that like really introduced me into fantasy. So I have like a
Ah, well,
healthy
okay.
respect for it. But I read that before. But when I read Wheel of Time, I was like, damn, like this stuff is like so similar.
Yeah, no, that's another one. It's like 14 books. I'm like, I don't know if wanna, I wanna do that.
Yeah, I think I gave up at like three or so, but
yeah.
I'll probably get back to it just cause like it's one of I feel like fantasy it's one of those books that you have to have in your portfolio.
I heard the show was kind of eh.
You should watch my rant review on the show. I have a whole rant review on the show where I'm just shitting on it. I hated it so much. I hated it from the first episode. I thought it was absolute crap. They tried to introduce wokeism. I don't know how you feel about it, but they try to introduce wokeism. And Wheel of Time, I would say, was a book ahead of its time where there are a lot of strong female characters, and like the original text has a lot of strong female characters. And if anything in the books, things are skewed against the men in terms of like the worldview and perception. But in the TV show, they try to like even emphasize that more by just creating stuff that didn't happen in the book. And yeah, like I was really really pissed because it just felt like they were trying to push an idea through the story, that they're just taking advantage of the fan base to push political ideas, which just irritated me.
Yeah, I mean, I watched like an episode or two of the Rings of Power show. I just couldn't do it. It was just, and not because
That was
like,
disgusting as well.
well, not because of like woke stuff, but it's just like it's so freaking boring. It drags like a snail. I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Like, when you watch a Lord of the like, if you watch a fantasy show and you get bored, you failed.
Like you completely failed.
I
But
should
it's
be
it's, it's just
in
like
awe
how could
and
they mess up
fascinated. If I'm bored, I'm like, what?
like how it's so bad like and if you go online they're like people who like watch this stuff and they're just like, yo, here you just copied and pasted here. I can see this same person here, like it was just really bad production. And I heard it cost so much money to make, and I was just like, what the hell was Jeff Bezos doing? Like, who did he pay to do this stuff? Because they did such a bad job. And when they were getting feedback from like the fans, they just said, "Oh, like the fans are racist and the fans are like I like I'm a
Well, I'm
black
sorry
guy
I'm
and I
racist.
was
You just
pissed
made a
with some of their
fucking boring ass
decisions."
show. That's my
I
fucking
know,
problem.
man. I still found it boring, so boring, and it was just like, yeah, I just couldn't do it.
Like the elf
Just couldn't do
lady, forget her name, like Galandril or
it.
something. She
Galadriel.
was like going for that like girl boss energy. I'm like, oh my god, like I'm like, okay, like, and
No,
there's some of the
you see, even the girl boss energy thing, it's fine, right?
yeah, I
But
know
the
it's
issue for me
fine
is
to
like,
do that, but
don't 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 make her a dude. Like a woman doesn't need to be masculine to be a strong character.
yeah,
You can have feminine women because like the way they executed it, they just made it like impossible to like the main character. They just made her very unlikable.
yeah,
They didn't make her, they were trying to make her look badass, but they made her unlikable.
yeah,
So it's just like your execution is off, you know.
yeah. No, it's like and there's some like ideas I think could have worked like okay. Like there was that elf guy who was trying to hit on the lady. I'm like, yeah, that could be a good show. I could watch that, but it's in like this hodgepodge of different ideas. I'm just
You know,
I,
like,
I I wanted to go to sleep after watching those first two episodes. I was like, I'll go watch something else. I'll watch like The Boys or something. Invincible.
ooh, I like the boy show.
Um,
I like the boy show. I love Invincible.
I had a,
Like
I
I
had
can't wait. I know Invincible is coming out this year or next year. The
I
season
hope
two.
I hope this year, but I don't know
Yeah,
actually.
I know it's coming soon. They did an announcement about it. It's coming
Um,
soon. But like I've already read the whole comic, so I know everything that's gonna happen. But I'm excited to see it.
yeah, I have them right over here. I just need to find a place to put them in my shelf. But I enjoy yeah, I enjoyed the Invincible show. I like how they stretched out the first arc of the story instead of
Uh,
just because in the comics like you could kind of tell they were still trying to find their footing when they made the when that happened, if you know what I mean. um
yeah,
in this it's like, oh man, it's so good.
yeah. They put it together really well.
Hmm.
Put it together really well, and yeah, it's graphic enough to really. Yeah, it's interesting, really interesting.
Yeah, and I remember I was watching the show. I'm like, oh, these characters are really fun. I can't wait to see him. And I'm just like, oh no, he's brutally murdering all of them.
I know. Like, damn, man. Omni Man. Ah, I love that guy so much. What a beast.
Yeah, I know. I had
What
a
a
dream about
beast.
Invincible last night, and there was something that happened. But I remember I said in the dream, I was like, I waited like 2 years for that, and then I woke up. And I woke up. I'm like, what? Oh
Did
man,
you remember what you were commenting on?
I don't remember, but it was something. I don't remember exactly. It was either like I think it was like it ended on like a cliffhanger or something, and I was like, what?
Yeah. Like it's crazy how like you can have a dream and when you wake up you remember the feeling, but you don't remember the memories are gone of like the actual of what happened in the dream.
Yeah, it's weird
It's
how that
crazy.
works.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you just left like there are dreams where I wake up and I'm literally like heartbroken. I'm emotional. I'm just like, why am I feeling like this? you know,
I
and I'm
remember
just like, yeah,
or like my dad would say something like that's like super dickish, and I'll wake up and I'm kind of pissy at him. I'm like, he didn't say it. It was in the dream. You know,
yeah.
it's weird how that works.
And then sometimes, right, I'll have a dream and I'll wake up like with a jerk. Like I'll wake up like I'll wake up and then like my girlfriend will be like, "Oh shit, did you have a nightmare and everything?" I'm like, "No, it wasn't a nightmare." And then I tell her the dream, and the dream is like, "That is just like that was absolutely horrible. Like if she was in that dream, she would have been freaking the hell out." But for me, it's exciting because I don't know. I just feel like I read so much dark stuff because when I'm in the dream and dark shit is happening, I'm like, "Oh, nice."
I mean, I like dark stuff too,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I like to be involved in that. You know?
And well, I'm just like I'm not participating in the dark stuff or a victim. I'm just watching it happen to other people. You know. Uh, yeah. Wonder if I need therapy. But yeah, just stop reading Cormac for a month or two, and I'm sure my dreams will go back to rainbows and butterflies.
Oh man. I mean, I've never had rainbow and butterfly dreams. I've had beach dreams, and I've had one where a mailbox ate me. That was that was when I was a kid, and I like
Yeah.
stayed away from mailboxes for a little while after that.
I can imagine. I can
Oh,
imagine.
it was just like
Like dreams are funny things, and it says the manifestation of your subconscious, like organizing information. Oh, that's really interesting. Really interesting idea.
yeah, no. Going back to McCarthy, I know he was like a big science guy, which is kind of funny. At least to me, it is. I mean, I like science fiction and all, but like when it comes to actual science, I'm just like, I'm kind of a dummy when it comes to science. But um, have you seen the
I
conversation? Have you ever seen the like
have I seen what?
Have you seen the conversation that McCarthy had like a few years ago, um, with the scientist guy, like Krakauer, I think is the guy's name.
I've I've probably seen it because I've seen so many of his interviews. But yeah, what was it about again?
Well, I mean, well, a lot of it kind of went over my head, but they were talking about a bunch of like science stuff. Let me see if I can find it.
I feel like my interest in science came a bit late. Like I was not interested in any of that stuff until after I graduated and I was done with school. And I wonder like how that would have affected me, like how different I would be if I was interested
This
about
one,
in this stuff in school.
that one.
Couldn't care less. Oh yeah. I've seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah. Um.
I don't remember what they were talking about, but yeah, I remember it was a sciencey conversation.
Yeah. No. I mean, a lot of it kind of was like what, but I've heard like his new, or I'd say his new, but his last ones were about like had science in them, anyway.
Yeah. But like even Blood Meridian, like the judge was a pretty like sciencey guy. Like he was geology, chemistry. Like
He knew about everything.
yeah, my man was like my man could have taught a whole university syllabus by himself
Have you
in
like
the science department.
have you thought about doing a judge? I know you've done some like character analysis. Are you doing one on the judge at any point?
Yeah, no, me and AJP were working on that. AJP has already like done the analysis. I'm just like working on like the graphic to go with it, and I'm using Mid Journey. So, yeah, that one is going to be really, really interesting. I'm looking forward to it because I know there's a lot of like character analysis that have been done already, but I feel like what makes was different is yeah, I'll just say it here. Why not? Um, so the judge has a lot of like really dope quotes, like
Yeah, that's
oh,
a way of putting
so
it. Yeah.
yeah, so we basically carry a single quote and then analyze it, and then carry another one and analyze it, carry another one and analyze it. So it's basically picks at each of the, you know, the just to like dissect his mind from like the things he says.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was. It's funny. I was doing a review of Monster because I write reviews on Goodreads as well as I do my YouTube content. Um, First quote I used was from one of the last pages of the book from Judge Holden, where
Mhm.
he's always dancing. He says he never sleeps. He says he'll never die. You know that.
You'll never die. What a way to end the book. Like what a the judge is such a character, such a character.
Yeah, I know. Harrowing stuff,
What?
I would say. What?
Yeah, yeah. Like I really can't wait for my people to my when I say my people, I mean like my subs to like see that character analysis, because I don't think I'm gonna do a book review because I feel like it's just gonna be too much to do. But like a character analysis on the judge, would be very interesting to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, with Blood Meridian, there's just a bunch of interesting stuff in that book where it's hard to describe it all. It's like, there's like references to like the Bible and Paradise Lost and um, Moby Dick, Heart of Darkness, which I actually have up here.
Yeah, I like how like something I like about Blood Meridian is that um so there's this idea, for instance, and I spoke about it during the discussion, or one of the ideas I liked about in Blood Meridian was that there's this general idea that people see when they read history, like World War II history, for instance, of like they say stuff like, well, if I was in Nazi Germany, I would have been a good person, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's like no, you wouldn't have been, you know. Like in that kind of setting where this is what is people are doing socially, and this is like the general consensus, this is what people are, this is what people believe, this is how people are like, choosing to act, like you are more likely to act just like a Nazi, like regardless of who you are, and it was how people like in the book, um how everyone was like just following the judge and Glenton on their their actions and just like the stuff they were doing, and how there was this like collective consciousness that was driven by people who were just rotten to the core. If that covers it enough, but just like people, and you can tell that like characters like what's his face, the kid, and what's his friend, right at the tip of my tongue.
Which one was
He
it? The
wasn't,
priest?
not the priest. The
Toadvine?
one he knew be Toadvine. Yeah, the kid at Toadvine. They had like some goodness within them,
Yeah.
and sometimes their conscience like kind of like made them hesitate, or like just take a moment to like look at the situation again. But regardless, they still like were still swept along, and
Mm.
I just find it very interesting, like that kind of social dynamic between people. And I feel like Cormac McCarthy like he captured it very well.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the political environment that's been happening in my country for the past few years, it's been
Yeah,
there's that
yeah,
scene where the judge walks into the church, or not the church, it's the revival meeting, and it's the first time we meet him, and he's just like, hey, this priest guy, I saw him, fucking a goat. And
Yeah.
everyone's like, we're gonna hang this guy, and then
Fake
they're
news.
and then they're just like and then they're like drinking, and then they're just like drinking later, and he's like, where'd you find all that out, by the way? And he's all like, I never met that man a day in my life. And everyone just starts laughing, and I'm like, what? That was one of those questions.
I
I'm like,
know. I know. I know. I know. That's like when someone is just an agent of chaos. They're
yeah,
just like an agent of chaos. That dude was gonna get hanged the judge did not give a fuck. Just like he's an agent of chaos, true to himself. I find like that's just one of the things that makes the judge such a scary character because his actions, like his actions don't always necessarily have a purpose. He feels like it feels more like a force of nature than an actual human being. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
But yeah, like yeah, the judge is one of a kind.
Yeah, no, he's oh, it's
Ooh, you
interesting.
have a. I had no idea you had a cat.
Yeah,
So cool.
yes, I
I
do.
love cats, by the way. I love cats, man.
Yeah, it's Jerry. Hello. Yeah, she likes to jump on my couch or my chair, not my couch. She does like to go on my
Are
couch
you
too.
her? Are you her favorite person?
Yep, pretty much. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. I have like 5 McCarthy books, I think. 5 or 6. I don't know. Anyway. I could go in my bedroom and get my Blood Meridian copy, but I'm kind of not really feeling like it.
Yeah. I know. I know. Like the next house that I get, like my room right now doesn't have so much space, but my next apartment, I'm going to definitely get like a bookshelf behind me. I like my paintings of the Balrog, the Joker, and the Bloody Nine.
Yeah, I
But
was wondering who that was. I mean, I knew that was a Balrog, but I didn't know who the other two were.
well, the Joker is in the middle, and the Bloody Nine is on the thing. And below here is a samurai.
Oh,
Yeah,
you,
and
you
I
play
have
you play
different
many video
paintings
games?
over there. Sorry,
Do you play many
of
video
course.
games?
I'm a gamer, man.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
gamer,
Uh,
hardcore. Well, not hardcore anymore, but like, yeah, like
I was gonna
every
ask if you
once
played
in a
like the
while.
Ghost of Tsushima or Tazima.
Of course, of
Okay.
course. I finished it within the first week it came out. Like right now, I'm just like enjoying like the I'm just enjoying dying all the time on Elden Ring, but I'm still enjoying the game. And yeah, like Dark Souls 1. Y- yeah, I'm a gamer, man. I'm a gamer. I don't play Call of Duty anymore, but I've played like Apex. Like I have it in me to be a gamer, but I always try to be too careful because, I'm like, okay, let me just play this game for 5 minutes, and it's 5 days later, and my house is not clean. There's like bags of chips everywhere, and it's just like, fuck, I need to get my life together.
There's like a
And
it's like a clown there. You're like, what?
yeah,
Like where'd he come
yeah,
from?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So it's like it's a slippery slope for me. So I try and use it like as a reward system when I've gotten work done. Then I may play 2 hours of Elden Ring type thing.
yeah, no, yeah, I just haven't felt the itch to play anything recently, though. There are other things that are coming out that I do want to play, but
Like what?
new Star Wars game came out, which I want to play. I just need to get a PS5.
My girlfriend got that for me. Like,
Ah,
can you imagine? Like, she got that for me.
oh,
Any, like that was huge for me. I was just like, what I didn't think she was gonna do it. And then one day she was just like, "You want it?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Let's go." I
nah.
was like, "Yes, let's do this." So yeah,
So are there like
but
So, are there like other genres you enjoy as well as fantasy?
Right now, I would say I'm into just simply off Blood Meridian. I'm definitely a Western fan. And yeah, sci-fi as well. Like I haven't read so much sci-fi, but Dune simply is one of the best books I've ever read, and like not even close compared to other. But like I rank Dune in like the art with the art Scott Bakers, and I feel like Cormac McCarthy is different, somewhere different in my reading, but like Dune specifically is such a crazy book, and Dune also inspired a lot of books as well. And Herbert, he inspired a lot of writers as well. So, it's impeccable prose, like really big ideas and like insane character work. So, yeah.
All right. I tried getting into Dune. I couldn't. For some reason, I couldn't crack it. Maybe I'll try it again at some point. But
But like, how much do you read before you left it?
I got to the where Harkonnen basically like wrecks the whole, wrecks everybody, and then they go out into the desert.
That's where it gets fun. That's where it starts to get fun.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh.
it's a bit slow paced until then. Like it only from that point on, it only gets it's like a uphill. Only gets better. But yeah.
Oh, so that's Logan Nine Fingers behind you. I thought that was Killmonger for some reason.
No, it's well, like it's okay. If I'm being honest, it's Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, it is.
But when I saw the image, I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but when I saw the image, like my first idea was the first thing that came to my mind was the Bloody Knight. I was reading uh the first law
Uh huh.
when I got it, and I got it because it just like gave me feelings of the Bloody Nine, and like my previous YouTube setup, it was right behind me, and the idea was like this guy is about to split my head open with a sword. But yeah,
Yeah, no, it's funny in the first law because like Logan is like this like goofy kind of dad character, and then like oh I didn't like he doesn't seem that bad. Maybe he's just misunderstood. And then Bloody Nine comes out, you're like oh god, he's murdering everybody.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, like by book three, book up until like book two, he was still a character you could sympathize with and like really like root and everything. But in book three, he just like goes off the deep end, man. Like he just goes off the deep end, and I was just like, dang. Like, and I like how Joe Abercrombie, like, so as the Bloody Nine, right? He has
Mm.
this reputation in the North, and everyone is like, damn. So, but then you read his POV and everything, and you're like, well, this guy is not so bad. Like, likable character, fights for his friends. Well, like, what a good guy. And then when he has to go back to the North and like, old habits, catch up with him, then you're like, oh, I see why he had that reputation. What a bastard. What a bastard. Like his reputation matched the hype behind it. I see why people were scared of him because I became scared of him for the sake of some other characters I liked. But yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that kind of threw me off, admittedly, was he's like, oh man, I could go back and I could like start a new life, go somewhere else. Nah, I'm just gonna go back and do what I usually do. I'm like, dude, didn't you want to be like a good person though? Like, come on, but whatever.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I'd already done so much stuff, you know.
Hey,
Feel
he got
like
he
I
became he
feel
got
like and I feel like I kind of get it. It wasn't like I wouldn't say it was an impossible decision for him, but I'll say that like sometimes you do stuff for so long that it's the idea of being someone else, something different is just like yeah. If even if being different means being better, you know.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean, and it's sort of that's kind of what I find it's about. It's about people who want to change, but they like for whatever reason, rather it be because of aspects they can't control or their own like their own flaws, they can't make those changes. Or that's how I view it. I don't know about you.
Yeah. No, I kind of see it like that as well. It's just like the idea behind it is just like you are who you are, and changing is impossible, you know. But yeah, I don't necessarily believe that, because if I believe that, then like why fucking wake up in the morning? But like, but yeah, like I get where he's coming from in terms of like how it is very difficult to sometimes change aspects of yourself, especially when you're not acutely aware of them, you know.
Yeah, or when you're just so used to something else, you're like, what else can I do with my time?
Yeah, yeah. Like there's a level of acceptance and like surrender to what you are, you know, that like yeah. It's like for me, like how I remember it is like kind of like um so when I was back in high school, I also used to rap. Like I used to rap. I have bars for days, you know, like the rap game is a little bit less because I decided not to pursue that. But I also used to like reading fantasy novels as well. So back in high school, for me, there was this push and pull between are you going to be a nerd, or are you going to be like, are you going to be hang with the cool guys and do cool stuff, like quote unquote. But I found more happiness in reading books, and like giving up. Like I just after a while, like it wasn't a matter of trying to be cool anymore. I just gave up and just accepted who I was, and I've been happier ever since. But the idea is like you are what you are, and you can't like, you know, yeah. That's how I kind of like see it.
Yeah,
You
no,
are
I,
what
I,
you are.
I, I can see where you're coming from. Certainly, it's
Yeah.
certainly
Where you stop fighting the tide, and you just like go with the flow.
yeah. I mean, and I guess it's not all bad. Logan became a king for a little bit.
Yeah. Like he still has his reputation. Like my dude, like I feel like if he wanted the throne again, he would get it. Like I don't think I haven't read the newer books, but I don't know what happens. But I don't think it's something he loses and can never get back. Like I feel like it's just right there for the taking, because he has that reputation, and he's Logan fucking Nine Fingers.
I wonder if he has like another name aside from Nine Fingers, or if that's like literally his last name.
Well, I don't think they ever mentioned it in the book, but the I remember how they mentioned it that people like named men in the north become known by their names, the names that they is assigned to them because of the reputation that they have.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
so like it's like if he has a last name, it doesn't really matter. Logan Nine Fingers, the Bloody Nine. Like, let's go. Oof, man, I love the Bloody Nine so much.
Yeah, it's like it's an interesting contrast because like there is like a tenderness to him. Like he could be like a better person if he wanted to be. It's just he can't escape this dangerous
Yeah,
past he has.
yeah. And it's also like his environment as well. I feel like um if he had any hope at being a good person, it would have been he needed to stay away from the north. Because if you remember like his inner monologue or his inner musings when he went back to the north, all of a sudden I'm surprised I can remember it this well. All of a sudden he was 'cause I read it a long time ago, but all of a sudden he was like, oh, could be a nice person and do this and do this and do this instead. But no, Like, because I remember times where he was sitting down and just like everyone is like terrified of him, and like he decided to, instead of do or say something that would, reduce the tension, he just like kept it there because, Logan Nine Fingers is like living in the North has taught him show strength at all times, and his understanding of strength and everything, that he just like projects that. And to be soft in any kind of way is not in his best interest, at least from his perspective. So going back to an old environment kind of, forced him to resort to old habits, which he just like gave up to in terms of, accepting who he is. So it's a trend cause, you know, because there's these things that the Stoics says, like if you're trying to learn philosophy, like stay away from people who knew you before became a philosopher, because like they would hold you to standards of uh it's the standards you had prior to learning the philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
and that could like so it just basically going back to that old environment with Dogface and all the whole North scared of him, he just like adopted that personality again and you know went with it.
So he kind of like deep down likes the fear that he.
I don't think it's a thing of liking. I don't think it's a thing of liking, but I feel like, so for instance, you would know this, like I don't know if this is how it works for you, but if you notice, some people have like an online personality.
Mm-hmm.
Like once the camera turns on, like they're a different person. All
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden they're high energy and they're talking with a certain kind of voice, and that personality is developed because you are in a situation where subconsciously, unconsciously, you believe it's in your best interest to act like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because you want to be like more engaging, or you want people to like believe whatever you're saying, or you're trying to communicate ideas in a way that you feel people would like be interested in. You have to like raise your energy up and stuff. So I feel like it's that kind of situation, in the sense where because people don't necessarily do what they like, or people do what they believe is in their best interest.
Mm.
So it's like being in the North, where like strength is all that's respected, and your reputation is make or break, and um you know like who he is someone who the reputation he's developed has helped him reach the pinnacle of respect and fear. You know, like it's those collection of behaviors, those collection of attitudes, just make up who you are. And when you're in that environment, even when you're not consciously thinking of it, you just revert back to those behaviors that helped you survive, because somewhere deep down you feel like it's in your best interest, because you could, when you're reading the book, you could always feel his conflict.
Mm-hmm.
you know he was aware of himself changing and he didn't quite like it, but there was a part of him that did it because he felt it was necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get what you mean. It's just like he's used to it, you know. That's what he
Yeah,
knows.
this is what it is. Yeah, this is who I have to be.
Yeah, I kind of see a similar thing with like Glocta by the end of the series. You know, he's like, I can't do anything else, so let's.
Glocktail, man, Glocktail. I love Glocktail so much.
Yeah, he's
I love
my
Glocktail so
favorite, but
much.
you know, that's kind of like a very. I guess that's a very vanilla answer. I also enjoy
Yeah.
Logan Nine
No, no,
Fingers.
no. Like the Glocktail is an interesting character as well. Really interesting. Like he's also kind of my favorite, and why I think why that's it that okay, so and that kind of makes me respect Abercrombie as a writer, because like I how like there is no other scenario I've ever seen myself like a character that's crippled and disabled and ugly, and but it's like his character like carries him. His character alone makes him likable, as despicable as he is. Um, Something I like in my characters is competency. And yes, he's competent in torturing, but not competent in a way that I particularly like. But at the same time, like usually I would like a character who was really good at fighting with a sword,
Mm-hmm.
for instance. Like he was like the best swordsman. I'm just like, that's my dude right there. That is competent, and you don't have to be good looking, but like you have to like have a certain kind of presence. And Glocktor like doesn't have any of those things I particularly liked, but still just his personality, who he is, makes me like him so much. And
Mm-hmm.
that is a testament to me about how good of a writer Abercrombie is. Because it's like you know but yeah, wow, you're making me want to reread the book now and just like experience all the
Does Beyond
feelings again.
Redemption
But
have any characters like that?
oh my god, of course it does. Beyond Redemption is a disgusting book. It's when I say disgusting, I mean it in the best way possible.
Oh, okay. Like
But
disgusting.
like
I hear you right.
it's uh it's so good. It's so like I usually don't like books that they do too much introspection. Because
Yeah.
like if you're introspecting about an idea, if like my character is thinking about an idea and I'm reading it, right, and this character's idea is different from my own idea about the topic, I can get
Mm-hmm.
very irritated very easily, you know. Beyond Redemption is kind of like that, kind of also in the way that um the first law is, but I don't mind it because uh it's almost anti moralism kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't there's always a relativity, like relativity, the idea of relativity and perspective is always presented to you. Everybody has such a strong perspective, such a strong opinion, and I don't know the nature of the book. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but yes, Beyond Redemption. And the best thing about Beyond Redemption for me is the relationship between the characters. It's the banter. It's such a dark world, but like the banter would keep you laughing. Like it's like you read something so disgusting, you won't be able to get the image out of your head, but then like two sentences later, you're laughing about something someone did, and it's just like wow, like what a book, you know.
Yeah. No.
It's
It's.
it's such a good book.
Yeah. No. I mean, I generally wouldn't like a grim dark book if it's just like dark and edgy the whole time. You know. So.
Yeah,
If it's
yeah,
just that,
like
then it just gets kind of goofy. Or just ironically enough.
yeah, yeah, so it's super interesting like that, and yeah, yeah, like I recommend it. When you do read it, I'd really like to hear what you think about it.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to reading it. Maybe I'll do it if I find some time during my kind of summer read along that I'm doing. Not read along because I don't have other people reading with me, but um, read-a-thon that I'm doing. Um, but yeah, no, it sounds like a book I would like for sure. So I'm not like
Yeah,
also has Richard
yeah,
Anderson on the cover. I enjoy his work, so
yeah. And I mean, like it also has like also a lot of ideas there to explore. Yeah, yeah.
sorry if you keep seeing me swipe my hand. There's a bug in this room. I don't know, just flying around.
Like fruit flies.
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, like I hate them so much.
Um, are there any other books you're planning on covering sometime in the future on your channel? Or
I have so many books. This
or it's
book,
just
this book, The Drowned Kingdom.
oh, I think I've
The
heard of
Drowned,
this.
Yes, PL Stewart, like he sent me all three books. I literally got this book before it got released. I know a lot of people get them before they get released, but for me, I just thought that was really really cool.
I thought it said
So the
Lord of the
Dragon Kingdom,
King, and I'm like, oh, come on.
uh,
It said Lord and King on it.
Lord and King, yeah, dope ass book, So I'm reading it, and the writer as well is my friend. But yeah, the Drown Kingdom is a story. I'm going to probably do the 11th cycle. I heard that one is very very grim dark, and it basically it's inspired by Dark Soul games. So Dark Soul 1, Demon Souls, Dark Soul
Mm.
2, Elden Ring, so I'm definitely interested in that. Anarchy, AJP's book. Oh, I can't wait to do my motion comics on Anarchy. It's going to be insane. Like the Black Company, you know. Yeah, like there are so many books that I cannot get enough of that I would love to. Um, I might not do like if I do like Elric of Melniboné, I'll probably do a character study because there's already a comic of it, and I
Oh, have
feel
you
like
read
I don't want.
the French one that they did?
Yeah, I heard that one, and like
The art in that is
Murkoch
so
really
good.
liked it. Yeah, Murkoch really really liked it. So, out of respect, just out of I don't want my stuff being compared to it because I don't want yeah, like I'll probably do a character study on like the original Edge Lord, which is who is Elric.
Mm-hmm.
Um and yeah, like I want to read Tad Williams as well, like Dragon Bone Chair. Like yeah, there are so many books that I want to read. I want to get into some more sci-fi. Like if I yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
of course, more Cormac McCarthy. Yeah, like there's just so much. There's so much.
Yeah, I get what you mean. There's a lot. There's some stuff I'm kind of like, oh man, what am I gonna cover next week? You know.
Yeah,
um, yeah, no, I definitely have some reviews I'd like to do in the future. Um,
yeah. I'll be following your channel. Like I like your channel. Your channel is very down to earth, and yeah, like I like the fact that you cover comics as well because it's I feel like it's all stories. It's all
mhm.
stories. I thought you went off for a second, but it's all stories, and like as far as it's storytelling, like I'm about it. I wanna like delve into it. I want to hear someone talking passionately about it, and yeah, that's what your channel has. So as soon as those book reviews come out, I'll be checking them out as well.
Yeah, definitely planning on covering more comics. I still need to read the ones I have here because there's a lot of them I haven't read yet. Um,
You should you should do that. That has a big community than BookTube, and I'm not saying that I'm saying like BookTube is not like it's not like a place to, like if you wanted to like grow a lot of subscribers
mhm,
or something. It's more like a niche personal kind of thing.
mhm, yeah,
So it's like yeah, like if you're giving consideration to the growth of your channel, yeah, like
well, I think everyone
consider
thinks about
doing
that at
more
least a
comic
couple
book.
times.
Sorry?
I think everyone thinks about that sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
not something
You know,
I mean, I just talk about stuff I want to talk about, really. But, it's
yeah,
just.
yeah. And that's
I
and
do
that's
want
more
people to
sustainable.
watch it, though.
Yeah, yeah. The idea is to like get people what the people that like are and have your taste, you know, gather and like, have a good time watching your channel.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what
like I want to do more comic reviews, and it's not like to like grow my channel or anything, but I kind of not that I'm getting like burned out on reading books or anything. I'm still like I still cover books, so I'm still going to. But there's like other mediums I'd like to cover, like
yeah.
comics and films, and I do want to cover like manga, like Urasawa. Definitely, I'd like to cover at some point.
Yeah.
But
Like do it. Do it. Do it. Like don't. I'll say this, right, and I've been on booktube now for 3 years. I'll tell you this: don't get stuck in the booktube bubble. Like, I don't think it's worth it. Like, be beyond booktube. Be beyond book. Like, if you notice my stuff, I'm doing motion comics now. Like, that is not exactly booktube. I don't do wrap-ups simply because I find them boring. Like, if any booktuber is watching this, I'm not sorry. I do find wrap-ups of book hauls. I can't I honestly can't sit down and watch someone talk about the books they bought, and like wrap-up is like, no, I want details, and like book hauls is like you literally buy books and you're telling me the books you bought. Like, I'm sorry, I don't find that interesting.
Feels kind of
Like,
targeted.
you know what?
I do.
Yeah, it's
Though I
just
do.
like,
I do wrap ups for at the end of the month instead of like I
yeah,
know there's some who do it every week. I'm like, dude, I
I
can't do
know.
that.
I feel like wrap ups are good, like once in a while type of stuff. But like, there are some channels you go and it's just like wrap up after wrap up after wrap up after wrap up, and for me, it's just like no, this is not interesting. I'm sorry. Like, I don't like this.
Yeah, I know there's
So
parts of me
I
I'm like,
like,
just talk about the book. That's what I want to know.
yes,
Or talk about the
yeah,
comic or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, tell me about the story. Like, how do you feel about
I
it
don't
and
do
everything?
hauls
Like,
because that just
yeah, it's like, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, like with all due respect, like, because I know a lot of people enjoy them, like, and that's why in my channel I only do what I like to watch. Like, I would only do something if I would watch it, and I don't watch book hauls. Like, so yeah, like my channel is like my thing. It's my baby.
well,
You
yeah.
know.
So I mean, like, do you read comics or are you just kind of like on
I
and off
read
about it?
comics. No, so like I said before, right? Like, for me, it's about stories.
Mm.
Like, I don't really care how I ingest them. Like, I've read like the Invincibles comics. I've actually read the Watchmen. I just didn't know it was that dude that wrote it. um I've I've used to read a lot of Marvel comics growing up, and like manga.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm very confident I've read over 500, 600 mangas, like from start to finish. Like, I'm
Damn.
like, so for me, I'm not like, it's just like, where is the dopest story? Where can I find it? How can I ingest it? Whether I'm reading it, listening to it, like, whether it's there are pictures, there are no pictures, graphic novels, comics, you know that's why it's not like epic reads, it's epic tales, epic stories, like,
Mm-hmm.
dope shit. Yeah.
EpicTalez. Yes. Sorry, that threw me off for a minute. Um.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. Because when I started my YouTube again, because I had done it for a little bit, but I didn't like. Well, I don't know why. I just kind of fell out of it. But then some friends of mine are like, "Hey, you got a passionate opinion about this stuff. Just do it." And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't see why not. So I just started. I kind of thought about it. I'm like, but do I really want to do it? And then I just thought, well, are there reasons you don't want to? And I just kind of thought about it. No. So I just do
Yeah.
it.
the,
So I
the,
just did
the,
it.
the idea for me is to do something, is to make it as effortless as possible, to make it as effortless as possible. Like, I'm having a good time recording videos, editing videos, putting it out there, having discussions about it. Like, I'm happy, man. I'm happy. So, yeah, like, like, I would say keep doing what you're doing, and yeah, just like try to improve with each video, and in a couple years, you never know where you'll be.
Yeah, I mean, I also what was encouraging. I don't know if you've watched like Brian Lee Durfee before, but like he just
Yeah,
records
yeah, I know.
he like records on his phone, and I was like, oh well. I mean, I can edit a little bit, but I mean, yeah, if I had like Adobe, which I don't have right now, but I mean, I have Adobe and I know how to use it a little bit, but aside from that, like I don't have a lot of editing skills, so I just kind of, I make up some bullet points to keep myself on track, and I just do them. So
Like, what do you use right now to edit? You just record like do you just like um do you just like post after recording without editing?
Yeah, usually like I'll do a couple of recordings and like see which one I like the most, and then I put it up.
Okay, so a couple of things. First of all, right, that would make you so good. Like you have such in such in a shorter period of time than me, you would have such good camera presence. Like you'll be able to speak in front of the camera and be very comfortable. You make less mistakes and you would just be like much better, you know. Because when I first started, it was also the same for me. I would sit down and record, sometimes because sometimes I'm so perfectionist about this thing. I'll record, I'll do like 20 something takes sometimes. I'm not even exaggerating. Like I will do it so much, just because I wasn't comfortable with this part and I didn't know how to edit. And then started editing, and then I became a little bit more lazy in like, communicating, like, with in front of a camera. But yeah, like the way you're doing it, you're going to be so much better at communicating in front of a camera and just like being coherent
Yeah,
over
no, I mean I
stretches of
usually do
time.
it like I'll do like one take, and then like I'll just be like, I don't like how this is seat found sent or sounding. Get rid of it, and then like now on these, I use this thing called OBS, and I used to just do it like I called it guerrilla style kind of recording, but now I just use OBS because it's more convenient.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice, nice, nice.
yeah,
That's
no,
dope, man. That's dope.
yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's
I have a question. How did you find my Discord? Because like from my videos, I stopped announcing, "Oh, join my Discord." I stopped. How did you find it?
well, well, for one, I think I saw like on one of the pages we're mutually on. But then I was like checking out your videos, and I saw like the Discord, and that's how I joined it. I saw you linked it below, so
Oh,
that's how I joined it.
nice, nice. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I haven't really usually before I used to announce it on my videos, join the Discord, but I went away last year for such a long time, and like I feel like I want my Discord to be more engaging, but I'm not. Sometimes I'm working on a video, or like I'm just too busy to actually like put in time. But usually if you message me on Discord, like I'll respond as very quickly. And yeah, like I appreciate everyone there that like keeps the engagement going and just like keeps those conversations going. So yeah, do you ever see yourself like opening a Discord?
I do have a Discord. I just don't know how to like link it and all that stuff. So yeah.
If you could help any of them, just let me know. Like I
Yeah, I
can
might
on
actually ask
back
you
end.
after that because I do have a Discord. I just like no one talks on it, so I'm just kind of like, well, shit. But I did hear the other day there was somebody who's like, dude, your link's broken. I'm like, shit.
You see,
That's
but you
why.
see what's weird for me is that some people like click the link, it doesn't work for them. Some people click the link and it works for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Lena on my Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she showed me she has screen recorded herself uh clicking my Discord and it says unavailable. And then I went to a separate computer and then I clicked the link and it took me to my, so it's just like what is going on there. But every once in a while I just change it so that yeah, it's accessible you know but yeah, like I have plans to make the Discord more engaging, and I have all these big ideas, but like and when those big ideas come together, then I would re-engage. I'll put more effort into the Discord, but until then it's just a bunch of guys from different parts of booktube, and different parts of Discord as well, where we just meet, talk, and communicate and chill.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, no, Discord's an interesting site to use.
Yeah, I feel it's just a good place for like your community to like to I don't want to say manage your community, but it's a good place to like, when your videos come out, for instance, everyone who gives a shit about your videos knows.
Mm-hmm.
If your videos were what brought people there, like you've connected you, then it's like, oh, uh, you know, some Oki dude has released a video. It's like, oh shit, let's go check it out. So it's like people know, because sometimes you can't always trust the YouTube algorithm to
Nah, I don't really
show
pay
your work.
attention to
Yeah,
that. I'm just like, look, if
yeah,
you like my videos, just watch them.
yeah. Simple, yeah. But just for stuff like that,
Mm,
it gives you a little bit more control.
yeah. Well, I
But
hate
yeah,
to. Well, I hate to uh, end this, but we've almost been talking for 2 hours. Like the longest I like to go at least is like 2 hours. So, but this has been fun.
yeah,
We should do this again at some
yeah.
point.
Such a good conversation. Thank you so much for having me on your channel, and I'm a huge fan of yours as well.
Oh, thank you.
And
I
yeah,
appreciate that.
I completely agree. We should do this again.
Yeah, no. Maybe if I do get around, well, I will do. I am definitely planning on reading Beyond Redemption. Maybe we could because sometimes I like having discussions on this channel with people about like if there's a certain book or like a movie or game or whatever, I'll have somebody on and we'll talk about it. So maybe we could do that for
Yeah,
Beyond Redemption at some point.
I'm down. I'm down. I'm down. Let's do it.
But if you'd
So
like to share your like social media or anything before you go, feel free.
it's Epic Tales. Epic Tales with a Z. No space in between. Check me out. I do motion comic animations. I do book reviews. I do character analysis on all my favorite characters in books, including fantasy, comic, anime, manga, and anyhow stories can be told. So come check me out. Stay epic and peace.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And check me out on Twitter, Letterboxd, uh, Goodreads. I also have a Discord, but again, I might need to tamper with that a little bit. But yeah, thank you, Epic Tales, for coming on. Yeah, can I ask for like another name I could use?
Oh, my name is Bem.
Pem.
Yes. So Ben, but with an M, not
Pem.
an N. The full
Okay.
thing is Bem Shima. Bem Shima is the full thing.
All
So
right. Well, again, thank you for
yeah,
coming on. I appreciate it. And I hope you
yeah.
guys enjoyed this episode because I know I did. And again, we should do this at some other point. All right. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.